Hey, this is Sam with the BU Software Training Lab, and in this video, we're going to be talking about blend modes. Blend modes govern how layers interact or blend with each other. Most of them are based on the light and dark values of a layer, but some are based on color, some on saturation, etc. It just depends on the blend mode. I'm going to demonstrate some of them, but the best way to get to know these is to try them out and learn how they work for you. Also, I have no idea why Procreate put these in the order they're in on the blend mode menu, so just bear with me as I jump around to the related ones. I'm going to give us a little bit of color to start off with. First, we need a few layers. I'm going to add some different colors overlapping so we can see what they do. You access blend modes by tapping on the little N on the layer. This brings up the blend mode menu. One important thing to know about the blend mode menu is this is how you access the opacity. You change the opacity by using this slider. Also, a 2-finger tap on a layer can bring up just a general opacity slider. Normal means nothing's happening, it's just a normal layer. Lighten and darken are opposites, and show only the lighter or darker color, depending if you're on the lighten or darken setting. For lighten, for example, white is the brightest, so pick that one. In the overlap area, the yellow is brighter than the orange, so I picked that color. And then for the orange, it's the darkest, so we kept the orange. Pinlight tries to do them both simultaneously. Lighter color and darker color are pretty much the same as lighten and darken, but they look at a composite of RGB values instead of looking at each color individually. Multiply is based on luminosity, so like the grayscale values of a layer. It augments the base color based on the luminosity of the blend layer, producing a darkening effect. This makes it great for making shadows. Screen is the opposite of multiply. It uses the luminosity of the blend layer to lighten the colors of an image, so it can be really good for adding highlights to an image. Add is like screen but stronger. It uses the blend colors to brighten the base colors. Overlay is like a mix of multiply and screen. It operates in just the midtones instead of the shadows or highlights, making the midtones darker or lighter depending on the luminosity of the blend layer. Soft light is like a softer version of overlay and gets rid of the harsh contrast you can sometimes see with overlay. Hard light is a true combination of multiply and screen, both lightening and darkening colors based on the blend layer's luminosity. This blend mode, as with many others, can be really intense, but using the opacity slider can help lessen the effect. That goes for every blend mode. Vivid light is a super intense version of overlay and soft light. Anything darker than 50% gray is darkened, and anything lighter is lightened. Difference uses luminosity to invert values. Black on the blend layer does nothing. White fully inverts the color, and gray darkens it a little. Exclusion does the same thing, but it doesn't darken the grays. Burn and dodge are terms that come from the old film days and traditional photography, and how they would lighten or darken an image. Burn makes things darker, and dodge makes things lighter. Color burn and color dodge increase the contrast between the colors of the blend layer and the base layer. Color burn does it to darken the colors, and color dodge does it to lighten the colors. Linear burn darkens the base color based on the blend color. Linear light dodges lighter pixels and burns darker ones, making the lights lighter and the darks darker. Subtract and divide are opposites. Subtract darkens colors by taking away brightness, and divide lightens colors by adding it. They have opposite effects. With subtract, the lightest colors will change the most, and the darker areas will stay largely the same. And with divide, the darkest colors will change the most, and the lighter areas won't really change. The last four deal with color and complement each other. Hue changes the hue of the base layer based on the blend layer, but keeps the luminosity and saturation of the base layer. Saturation lowers the saturation based on the blend layer, but keeps the luminosity and hue of the base layer. Luminosity uses the luminosity of the blend layer, but keeps the hue and saturation of the base layer. Color uses the luminosity of the base layer, but takes on the hue and saturation of the blend layer. This one works kind of like gradient maps, but using the blend layer instead of a gradient. So, if you have a black and white image, a color layer will apply color to the light and dark values of the grayscale image. Again, the best way to learn to use these is to try them out on your own and see what they can do. They can be really powerful. And that's blend modes in Procreate. In the next video, we'll be talking about the Adjustments tab.